5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, as somebody once said. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye, hello. Welcome along. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. We are all over the place tonight. I'd got a show coming up at 6 as well. I've now put that back till 10 o'clock. So if you're waiting for the 6 o'clock news to come on at 6, the 6 o'clock news will be coming on at 10. That kind of sums the day up. We've also got the preview with the Birmingham fan. That's coming up with Brad at 7. We've got the prediction league, which we're changing again a little bit. We're going to actually predict all the games, but just discuss in detail the Super Six obviously for the league, but we will be doing all the games. And then we've got the new show at 10. Whew. In between all of that, I might get a bite to eat. Who knows? But welcome along. I'll bring my guest in first because I feel it's only right to. Wayne, good evening, sir. Oh, look at us both in retro shirts here.
Well, you can't beat it, Chris. Sometimes you need a bit of retro to just put a smile on your face, don't you?
Well, we do, because there's nothing much putting a smile on our face today. All we've got is bloody Sky coming up tomorrow night, which is why we've got so many shows today. I don't think I've ever done 4 in one night before. I'll be knackered.
You all, mate. Takes you back to your teenage years, Chris.
I know. I couldn't even manage 4 then, I'll tell you. I've not seen this yet. You have. This is the press conference. So what we're going to do, guys, whether you've seen it or not, we're going to go out. We're going to play the press conference, which I think is about 12 minutes long, something like that. And then we'll have a chat about it afterwards. And then hopefully, because we're now not doing a show at 6, well, maybe we could pick our team for tomorrow night.
Good idea, Chris.
Good idea.
Let's have an argument, Chris.
I know we agreed too much last week, didn't we? Yes, indeed, we did. Right. Well, shall we hand over to Marty and see what he's got to tell us about?
Sale and also the sale of Casey McAteer, something that the club had to do to fit within their PSR restraints, etc., and making sure the club was compliant there.
I think it's a clear plan in the sense of what we need to do. At the same time, we cannot control the market. And as I said, for me, the most important is that we have a clear way of acting on those situations, in the sense that there is evaluation on all the players, as probably happens in all the clubs. And if that happens, then as you could see, then 2 players that have done well for the club, but we felt it was the right offer. And then, as I said, the target is to make sure that on September the 1st, we are in a good place, which I'm sure we will be.
Just a few days left until the deadline arrives. Are you hoping that the club will be able to bring new players in between now and then?
Again, we have daily communication about what I think we need to reinforce. If we can find a solution, as I said before, inside in the club. Last game, you could see that, for instance, Silko jumped from the bench and he did well in my eyes. He's training well. He's doing well. So I'm always one that we try to find ways to solve the problem, not only with players from the academy, but as well thinking if other players in the squad can play different roles or can play in different positions. And if that's not the case, then is when we look at the market, we look at the possibilities. Whatever, if it's going to happen, that means that this player, we're sure that can help us to improve. If not, it doesn't make any sense.
If you do have to go into the market, is there money to spend?
There is a possibility to get into the market, yes.
I know that we've talked about players potentially leaving, maybe the discussions that you've had with the club. Is there a need, do you think, for another striker to come in at this stage?
I guess that all the fans in the world will always ask for another striker for the team. Everybody looks for the same. This is a striker that can score 35 goals every season. Reality is that it's not an easy market. The one of the strikers usually is a very expensive one. As I said, at the moment we have, in my eyes, one striker that is a pure striker, that is Patson Daka. We have, with his strength, that in my eyes is a player that goes more in behind, that is more a runner. Then we have Jordan Ayew, that during his career has played as a striker before. With the national team, he plays a lot as a striker. He has played in other positions. In my opinion, he's a more hybrid type of a striker. He can play more behind the striker as a 10. So what I call a 9.5 if you want. And then you have other players that eventually could do the job as well. So at the moment we're working with these two in this position, and then we'll see what happens in the next few days.
Looking ahead to Birmingham City next up, what have you made to them in their analysis?
They're doing really well, not surprised. I talked already last week about this trend, this dynamic of those teams that are recently promoted. That usually is a positive one. Birmingham did amazing with obviously a very ambitious project, but they did really well in League One. They are starting the season well with a clear identity on the way they want to play, on how they are reinforcing as well the team and the profile, the players' profile that they are signing. So I expect a difficult game. We need to be at our best because it's definitely a good team.
How important is it to go and get back-to-back wins starting tomorrow night?
Very important. We spoke with the players. I think that the fact that is, again, after two games away, be back at home at King Power Stadium and have the feeling of the fans in an evening game, I'm looking forward to feel that energy, that atmosphere. I think the fans were amazing, and the last game away against Charlton helped us a lot. And I said to the guys that it will be definitely an important step forward to make sure that we can get the 3 points, because especially for international break, if you manage to get those points, it's always, you enjoy them a little bit more.
Martin, thank you very much. Best of luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. We'll go to Natalie from BBC Midlands.
Hi, Martin. Good to meet you. A home game, you mentioned, you've been here about a month and a half now. How are you finding it? What do you think of Leicestershire as a place? Have you moved here? Are you enjoying it?
Most of the time I'm spending in the training ground, so I'm 24/7 here at the moment. But it's true that a few occasions, first of all, the club has been fantastic with me. All the people working in the club helping both me and Xavi and my staff to understand what the club means, what the club is about. In that sense, there is a lot of people that has been here for a lot of years, so it's helping me to understand very well. And then the few occasions that we have been out of the training ground, it has been very nice. I think that I had the opportunity as well to meet some fans, and everybody has been so supportive, so positive. Everybody's aware about the challenge that we have ahead of us. It will not be easy, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be here to represent this club with such an amazing history, and hopefully we're gonna bring some good times back.
And you've had a good start, but you mentioned yourself the challenges. As a manager, a head coach, how important is it for you to have a good relationship with the fans? And what will you do to make sure that happens between players and fans too? Because it's been a tricky time.
Look, first of all, I was not surprised. It's never the case when there is a relegation that the fans are happy with the team, and that's fair. I said that being a fan is about having emotions, and I totally understand. Now it's our turn to make sure that we improve this relation, that we make sure I think that to achieve success, togetherness is key. So the same that it's normal that when after relegation there is not a great relation or there is some people that is not very happy, I think it's totally clear that if we want to get a good result this season, if we want to achieve targets, we need that togetherness back. We need people to feel encouraged for what they see in the pitch. And in that sense, I think I've been quite honest. I'm not happy yet about the way we are performing. I think that there is potential to play much better. I'm aware that it's work in progress, so it's on me that the team will play better, and I'm sure we will. But to see a team that is honest, a team that is that works hard, that even on the difficult times as it is now, they play for the badge, and that's what I saw against Charlton. I think that that's a pretty solid foundation. And the fans responded really, really well to that. So it was not our best game, but still the fans were behind us because they could see a team that was trying the best in a difficult scenario, in a difficult game, but still we managed to bring it out. And it's part of the identity that I want to bring back.
So many positives from that win. You getting your first away win, the clean sheet, also Abdul Fattah's goal. How important is he? And there is speculation about him going too. Do you want him to stay? Have there been bids for him? Sorry, same old questions, but how important is he? Do you want him to stay?
Yeah, not only the goal and the performance, but the dance. It was very good dance at the end when he scored. So I'm looking forward to see more of those. So no, we want Abdo to stay. I think he's happy here. You can see that when he's smiling, that's a good signal for all of us. And he's smiling a lot lately. Obviously, was not the easiest season, the last one for him after the knee injury. And he's back with a lot of energy. We still need to take care of him. We are managing as well the way during the weeks and during the trainings and so on. That's the reason why he's not going with the national team. But he's a very important player for us. So we definitely want him to stay, and he will be a very important player.
Do players have to go out for you to bring others in?
As I said, I think the market is open for the next 5 days. I expect that it's going to be some busy hours here for us in the office. But yeah, I don't think that's the case that we need to, but more about what do we want. And I was quite clear from day one. I don't want to have the biggest squad because I felt that it was too many players at the moment when I arrived. I think that now we are getting more into the numbers that I like to have in a squad, especially because I do believe in the academy. I do believe in the young players. And I think that you can see, I think that Jess, Louis, Silko, Lazay are doing great. If I'm not wrong, I think it was 8-9 academy players in the last game against Charlton. And I'm a big believer that that's an extra, that's an edge for us. So I said that. My intention is always, as any other coach in the world, to have the best team available or possible. So we're going to try our best together with the club to be in that position in September the 1st.
You said there is a possibility to go into the market then. How many players do you think you could maybe get? Sorry to ask these kind of questions, but this is what fans want to know.
Yeah, I understand that, and I understand that you make me the questions. Unfortunately, I don't have, or I cannot give you all the answers. But what is sure, the fans can be calm about. Despite I understand that it's only a few days left, I'm sure that they will be, that they will see the work that we are doing behind the scenes at the end of this window.
People are writing Leicester off because the club's just been relegated. There have been financial difficulties, but you seem to have brought an air of calmness to the place. Can the Foxes be the surprise package this season, do you think?
I think that expectations are always good. Expectations might be strong for us, despite some people not thinking that we can be contenders or we can have a strong season. I do believe in daily work. I do believe it's very difficult for me to say where we're going to be in 8 months. The full focus for me is to win tomorrow, and then the next game, and then the next one, because that's the only thing it works in football, to win games. And then, I'm calm because I see the potential. I do believe in what the foundation that I found here. I do believe in the players that we have. I do believe in the staff that we have. And then my job is to get the best of all of them. It's going to be easy, no? It's going to be... we are in a moment perhaps where we need to rebuild some things, yes, and it can take some time, yes, but I 100% believe on this.
Best of luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nat. Mark from YTV.
Hi, Martin. Good to see you. When it comes to the game tomorrow night, there's a few different sides to this. You spoke about Birmingham's project. It's an East against West Midlands derby. They've come up. Leicester have obviously gone down. Do you feel that this adds to the occasion tomorrow night?
I think when the game starts, when the kickoff goes, it's always 11v11, and it's going to be a lot of passion in the stands, and from both sides I think that there is an excitement about the start of the season. I totally get the fact that when you promote, as I said, the feeling might be different than when you get relegated. But as I said, I think it's on us, staff, players, to turn a little bit the mood. And what I've seen so far, that's what I can judge. I think that people was quite happy after the game against Sheffield. They saw a team that, despite not doing the best first half, on the second, I think that we played at really high level. We created a lot of chances. We won the game in the last minutes. I think that against Charlton away, I felt big support, same as against Preston. But I think that against Charlton, I saw a real togetherness. And then, of course, I understand that it's an interesting game tomorrow against two sides that we're going to try to do create this feeling of making it very hard for opposition, for other teams to come to King Power. And I understand that Birmingham had a positive start, so they are full of confidence. But it's on us to make sure that we start the game on our terms.
Yeah, this kind of big fixtures come quite soon in the season. How much should people pay attention to whatever happens tomorrow night as an indication of how the rest of the season might pan out?
No, I think it's far too early to make any clear assessment after this game. As I said, I think that Birmingham started well. We are a team that we are building. So, I've been here for 1 month and a half. The coach has done a very good job over the last year and something. So I think we are in different stages, but that doesn't take away the responsibility that we are Leicester, that we play at home, and that we're going to go, the message is that we go all in from the very beginning.
You mentioned the clubs that have come up from League One to the Championship. You're one of the clubs that have come down. Having been at QPR, how do you see the Championship this season? Is it more difficult? Obviously, a couple of big clubs left Championship and got promoted, but is it tougher, do you think, than it was last season, or about the same? How do you measure that?
I think Championship, the 2 seasons I coached here before, it's one of those perhaps few divisions where you never know what can happen. So I think what makes it very demanding and very special, if you want, is not just the amount of games, but as well that the first one can lose in the pitch or at home against the bottom one. It's every game it's so difficult, so demanding, and I don't see any difference in that sense. I think that so far the 3 games we have played have been demanding for different reasons. And Sheffield Wednesday, everybody talk about the situation that Sheffield Wednesday was in, and so far I think that Sheffield Wednesday has been doing quite well, that they are going into the Carabao Cup. Preston, you can see as well, they beat another big club as well in the division, and they are starting the season really solid. And even Huddersfield, that as well. It was a disappointing result for us to lose in the penalties, but then went through beating a Premier League club. So there is no easy game in this division.
Of course, and just the final thing you mentioned, the demanding season the Championship is. It's a long season. Obviously, there's games weekends, midweek. It's a very long season. In your squad at the moment, you've got a real mixture of very young players, but you've also got some experienced players as well. How do you see the experienced players playing a part in that? Because obviously for the young players, they might not be used to that intensity of the Championship and how demanding that is on bodies, on minds, on a squad in general. How do you see that panning out?
I'm so happy with experienced players, the way they are helping the young guys. Obviously, in terms of age, I could speak about Yannick, I could speak about Bobby, I could speak about Asmir, that despite being young, he's got a big experience. So all of them, Jordan, are helping the young guys. But I would say players that are perhaps not that old or another stage of their careers, like Hamza, like other ones, they are definitely helping the young players. We got a lot of young players in that sense, and they need to learn what it is, not now, but especially when November, December, January, when the tight schedule comes, on how to approach this. But I'm very happy. And then we have a fantastic captain on Ricardo that is leading all of them, that is showing how to lead from the example every day, in every training, being super pro and being very positive. So in that sense, we're in good hands.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Well, interesting, Wayne. That was the first time I saw that. It's actually, I mean, I just wish that Leicester City would get the bloody sound system sorted out. It leaves a little bit to be desired. I love the fact that the one female journalist that they seem to allow in, her first question is, "What are you thinking of Leicestershire?" I mean, yeah, we're not here. I mean, why do you ask what curtains is he putting up in the?
I know. Do you know what? It's impressive that Owen Palmer-Atkins only got 4 minutes today, didn't he?
He did. I think, in fairness, I think they probably take it in turns to ask those first set of questions. You know, can I just point out? And we're gonna go through it now because there was a lot of interesting points raised, and not all in the whole press conference. It's just what is edited down. But get your podcast buds out, whatever they call them. TalkSport 2s do a regular weekly show called the EFL Fan Network. It was recorded yesterday. It went out live. Don't go off and watch it now. Stay and watch this. But at some point, listen to it because they are talking, funnily enough, about Leicester City's youthful side. Now, I don't know who the guest was, but I've had a quick listen and he's talking a lot of sense.
Is he? Yeah, well, Leicester, we had average age of 22, Chris. I mean, Sunderland had the youngest ever side to play in the Championship at an average age of 24.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, we played a real bruising physical battle with a group of players at average age of 22.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say, like I say, fantastic. Apparently he's called Chris. The Leicester fan.
Well, the name says it all, doesn't it? The name says it all. Greatness, insightful.
Exactly. I mean, I did feel a bit like an Australian convict that is now passed away because I did feel like saying, "Do you know what it is yet?" Because I didn't know whether you got the fact that you could that it was actually me that I was talking about there. But that is live now. I love the guy that hosts it. Funnily enough, the guy that hosts it is he runs the Sheffield Week podcast, who we had on, not exactly him, but his mate, and he was saying how gutted he was that he couldn't come on for the first week. And he did ask me to send all the best wishes and thanks to the Leicester fans from the Sheffield Wednesday fans for the support that we showed them. And I said he was most welcome there, but for the grace of God go a lot of us, let's be honest with you.
Do you mind if I just say one brief thing as a side note, Chris? Do you know when it was like the end of the world when we got relegated from the Premier League, but I found this season, I know you said with that bar it was great when we were in the Championship last time. I just think there's so many talking points this season. I'm enjoying it, aren't you?
I think the talking points are always good talking points. I'll just say check the new show out at 10 p.m. tonight, everybody.
Yeah.
But, I prefer... The first time we got relegated, Burnley came up, if you remember, and because they'd been relegated the season before. And our friend Dan, the Burnley fan from Turf Moorhouse, he said, you will enjoy the Championship. I know it's, you're down from the Premier League, but not just the fact there's no VAR. The referees actually got a bit of sense about them. It's proper football. It's not all this sort of, oh my God, you farted by me, I'm going to fall over and, you deserve a yellow card. And I enjoyed it last time. Obviously, it was helped by the fact that we were playing well. We went 17 games without losing. We've got that out of the way, obviously, early this time. But I think because I'm kind of not expecting to go up, I think I'm kind of at peace with it this year. And look, how many, if you take, there's 92 teams in the top four divisions. 86 of those would love to have achieved what we achieved in the past 10 years.
Yeah, and that's it, Chris. I mean, you would not swap mediocrity for what we've done in the last 10 years. And I don't just mean winning the Premier League. I mean, the Great Escape, that was absolutely bonkers, wasn't it?
And the promotion that got us there, because, we broke a lot of records last season under Ruud van Nistelrooy. They weren't the best records, but in the Championship under Nigel Pearson, we were smashing records left, right and centre.
Yeah, and in the context of getting relegated and nearly folding as a club, it was almost euphoric, wasn't it? That's the thing.
Yes, yeah. Right, let's have a word. And if anybody wants to join in the chat about the press conference, please do. Your comments will appear in the bottom corner. You're a quiet lot at the moment. But let's start with the obvious. His target on September the 1st is he hopes to be in a good place. Look, we know we've got to sell, why we've had to sell players, and it is a case of, I know I joke about it, but it is a case of make us an offer. No reasonable offer is going to be refused. But I still, we've been linked with another striker today. If we don't bring anybody in, I am going to worry.
Oh yeah, how much are you going to worry, Chris?
A lot. Because I know we know, and as I say, I was talking, I think we've got so many good youngsters coming through, but we need another striker.
We do, Chris. I know you've been going on about the keeper. I would like, if we just got one player in, if we can get a striker that you featured, was it yesterday in the show? A goal every other game or as good as, I would be happy. I think we have got enough. And like you said, if that means meeting PSR and, different things are saying now that we basically have done. So you'd have taken that, and we've shown intent. We are willing to sell players that we view as our own, basically, to meet PSR. So, if somebody's showing intent, then, sometimes that's really good for the AFL because they don't want a messy situation. They've got arguments with the Premier League to sort out. So, I like the way the club are going. And, it would be ideal. And as you said, it depends if we sell El Canoes. Yeah. Because was he taking part in training? I think I spotted him, but I'm not 100%. He didn't feed you too much.
Well, I've got to think that El Canoes is featured in tonight's news show, as he was. It will always be appear in the news show, and we'll also come on to him in a second. I want to stick with the strikers if we can at the moment, because he said we've got one pure striker, and that's Patson Daka. I must admit, a chill. I thought I'd died and somebody had walked over my grave when he said that. I'm thinking, Marty, you have done so well up until that point, and about 5 minutes into the press conference, you go and say something stupid like that. You know that song? Then again, I go and say something stupid like I love you.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that sort of comment. He's pure. Well, that's I suppose is up for discussion. Striker is definitely not up for discussion because we've not got Vardy now, but he's the closest striker we've had to Vardy for a while because El Canoes, bloody hell. Iheanacho wasn't like him. Tom Cannon wasn't like Vardy. Daka's coming, but are we still playing as if one up front? Does that suit Daka?
No, I don't think it does. Interesting in the press conference, he said basically IU is a 9.5. Yes. He's not a 9 and he's not a 10. And I did put in my notes, I wonder whether Daka gulped when Marty said everyone wants a 35 goal a season striker.
I mean,
we don't. Sorry, Chris. We don't want a 35 goal a season striker. A 15 goal a season striker would be quite nice.
It is, but isn't it refreshing to hear a manager that says it as it is? Everybody would love that. You can't afford that. You know, I think somebody said, and I can't remember who it was to give credit to, but the striker, if you get a good striker, is probably more expensive than to get a good any other position. Goalkeeper's probably, in second. But I think, the fact that, he want, like you're saying, I don't know like you said, what Daka would have thought of that, but can we afford that sort of striker? Yes, if we go down, and the ones we're being linked with are only like £3 and £5 million. So you think, like, surely we can afford that. I did have to take the other point that I wanted to take up with Enzo is, of course, we don't allow halves on this channel.
Yes. Did you? Yes. Send a strongly worded email, Chris.
I will indeed. Yes. Angry from Dorset. But interestingly, because we know we've only got Daka, we know, we've got AU, but like he said, he's more of the behind the striker role. He said he's working with those two, but he said he could play other players in that central striker role.
That is interesting, because really, if you could blend Ayew and Daka into one person, that would be the ideal striker.
Who are you thinking of, Wayne?
Hey, do you know what? Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't need a Jamie Vardy, because we're never going to replace Jamie Vardy. Completely unique. But that's why Van Dijk broke the record. Maguire cost 85 million. Van Dijk, what he cost? It's the strikers cost over 100 million. That's why they spend the money, because most games are won or lost in the box. And we, so rather than having 100 million that Liverpool have to spend, hello, Doug, 5 million, we're excited about spending 5 million on a striker.
Well, we've kind of gone up the hill and now we're back down it, wasn't we?
Yeah.
We won the polls and we started to shop at Waitrose, but like I say, we're back. Maybe not at Aldi yet, but certainly in Asda.
But the thing is, Chris, what does that actually tell you? So if we're excited to be linked with a 5 or 6 million euro striker, what does that really tell you about the strikers we've got?
Well, yes, but we know, again, I think strikers are very much like goalkeepers. I was saying, like, with a goalkeeper, that I want 3, because, I don't know, was it you yesterday I was talking to about that? I can't remember, but I always want 3 goalkeepers. You've got your first goalkeeper. If they go out, your second goalkeeper comes in, but then you still need a backup to that. And I don't think Bowser's ready. And you look at all these international teams when they go abroad, they've always got three goalkeepers. I also think we need 3 strikers as well. Especially, if you're only playing one, even more so if you're playing 2 up front, you probably then could argue you need 4. But if you're playing 1 up front, so let's say Daka got injured. I mean, we probably wouldn't notice the difference, would we? But if Daka was to get injured, in fact, if he was wearing one of those surgical boots, he might actually hit the target a lot more. But no, if you if you've got your one striker, then he gets injured. So Daka's injured. AU comes in. Who have you then got? You need another striker to maybe either just come on in case again he gets a slight strain, or even just to change things around. So we do need a third striker. But interestingly, like I said, he was working with those, but he could play other players. I mean, there's 3 players that immediately spring to mind now, and I'm going to actually say this name before you do, and that's Monga, Mavadidi, or Fatawu. any of those three, I think you could play in that kind of striker role. Because I'm fed up when I'm looking at it, seeing a striker. It happens with Daka more than anybody, but out on the wing, crossing the ball in. You should be on the end of the fucking thing. You know, next time it's like we've got Ayew taking corners. Now the sad thing is that he's probably the best corner taker we've had in ages. But do you remember when Roy Hodgson had Kane on corners? You know, but I think any of those three, give them that striker role and say just cause chaos in the box. I don't know what you think or what the people in the chat think. They're not thinking because they're quiet at the moment.
Well, the thing is with Mavididi, so when Manny was saying, Mavididi, and I actually, what I do is I Google, like, when you get Samaris being lazy, what's a midfielder, Google it. And a striker, the winger was to disrupt it and get the ball in the box.
Yeah.
The definition of a winger isn't loads of step overs. And the definition of a striker is an attacking player in sports like association football, Jim would say, inverted commas, in brackets, soccer, whose main role is to score goals by positioning themselves near the opponent's box. It isn't, definition of a striker isn't somebody who presses really well. It's somebody who scores goals. So, and that's where we are. And do I think that Monga, if he was in the middle, could be in the middle of a group of people or be around two defenders and create space and have a shot on goal? Yes, he could. Could Fatawu do that? Yes. Mavididi, for me, he's still unproven. But I definitely think Monga could. And that's not just because he's my favourite player and I've got him on my new pink shirt.
Is he?
It's because he's got the ability, because he can go right and left. You know, the best thing Fatawu did is when Fatawu always came inside to the left. There's a term in sports that when you're attacking player, I'm left-footed, so a lot of defenders will know you're going to try and get the ball on your left to shoot. Every now and again, you have to go on the right and shoot with your weak foot just to make them think you might do it. So then that means you can go on your left and shoot. And Fatawu can do that. Mavididi hasn't got. He can't go both ways, and he struggles to get past somebody. So I think it will be either Fatawu or Monga could do it. I don't think Mavididi could do it.
I think I would disagree with you there, and I totally respect your opinion. But I just think if you've got Monga on one side, Fatawu on the other, El Kanous in the middle, Daka's injured and Ayew's had to come off. Mavididi is the one that I would put there because I'd want to keep Monga and Fatawu on the wings. And I think, not saying he could do any better than those two, but I think he could do the job.
I'd love it, Chris, if you disagree.
Love it. You'd love it, wouldn't you? So anyway, before we move on,
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
There you go. Thank you. The club, he said the club has been good to him, although he's not exactly going to say otherwise in a press conference. He spends most of the time in the training ground. Well, he's probably living there because that's what Enzo did, wasn't it? You know.
Yeah.
What I did, in fairness, and I know I've been I've been winding up about the comments, the questions that the lady journalist was asking, but she did ask again a really, really, really good question, and that was about the relationship between him and all the players with the fans. And I thought, wow. Now, she apologised a couple of times, and I don't think she should have done, but she said, these are the questions that the fans want to ask. Now, I don't know who that lady was, but give her front row every single week, because, all right, she started out, what did you think of Leicestershire? Fair enough. She was probably from Horse and Hounds. If you've ever watched Notting Hill, you'll know the joke there. But that was a nailed-on, 100% brilliant question to ask.
Yeah, I tried to catch her name twice, actually, because over the past whenever she's on, she asks really, really brilliant questions. Just not the stock normal one and the way she words them. And she gets really good responses from the people she's interviewing. And yeah, I think she's brilliant. BBC maybe. But basically, yeah, so she asked the questions and he said, yeah, passions, improve relations. I'm not happy with the performances. We need to get better. And he says the fans have got a right to. I do like how he directly answers the questions.
Yes.
Not PC bullshit. He just answers it as best he can. Trying to be as honest as he can. And brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't do a political answer like some, does he, Wayne?
No, he doesn't. I'm taking notes, Chris.
You know what I love about Marty? I mean, excuse me, English. I mean, he obviously speaks very, very good English. It's not his first thing, but he actually had a joke. Do you remember when Brendan Rodgers joined? The first ever press conference, Dion Dublin stood up and went, "Oh, Dion Dublin from Homes Under the Hammer," and he had a bit of a laugh with Brendan Rodgers. And I think that was the last time I saw him have a laugh or do anything funny at the press conference. I love the fact that Marty came out and said after about Fatu, and the dance was good as well.
Yeah. I bet Brendan's wife said, "Brendan, for God's sake, cheer up a bit in these interviews."
Oh God, yes. I mean, it's nice to have a manager giving straight answers. You know, when he was asking about the training, he said, I'm not going to say what we're doing. Do you know what I mean? Because he doesn't want to give anything away, and that's fine. Don't bullshit a 5-minute answer. Come on, just say, yeah, good question, but I'm not answering that. Of course, I'm not. But it was. I
want to know why he's calling. Sorry, why is he calling? He keeps calling Monga Jeff, doesn't he? He keeps calling Monga Jeff. Yeah, he did it last week.
I was shortened for Jeremy. It might be the Spanish that's short for Jeremy.
Yeah.
I mean, Jess.
Yeah.
Oh, he might just be very annoyed with him. But he wants that relationship, doesn't he? And we've seen it already with Bout Faze and the booing. He took him aside in private and said, "Don't do that again." Now, all right, so he's told people that he's done it, but we didn't have the embarrassment of him doing it, in public. I don't think we're going to have a manager here that throws players under the bus like certain Seals.
No, he also mentioned about playing for the badge, which all the things you want to hear. And yeah, you could say they're stock things that any manager would say, but he's really insisted that players go around post-match clapping all the fans, which is, when Winks went off and straight down the tunnel, that's directly in opposition to what Marty wants the players to do. So he must have noted that, and they must have had a conversation, because I've caught a couple of Winks things, and it does look in general quite a miserable man at the moment.
I think he wants out, and I think he knows we want him out. $9,000 a year, and I honestly think that's why he's sticking with Samari and Skip, because he knows Winks may not be here for that much longer. Talking of the squad, he thinks that there could still be outgoings. He doesn't want a big squad, and it wasn't until he came in that he suddenly realised what a big squad we've got. All right, a lot of the players are under 21, so technically they're not in the squad, but you have got the odd one that is now 21, so that is included. But he says he's getting the squad down to the size that he wants. Now, that's a double-edged thing, really, because if he's getting it down to the size that he wants, does that mean there's going to be no incomings? Because it'll then take it back up to being bigger again. And what he said was, and he believes in youth.
Yeah.
I think his actual phrase was, he's a big believer in youth. We've heard that so often, haven't we, from previous managers? We believe in the youth. I mean, the last guy here was the biggest bullshitter going when it came to the youth. Cooper was supposed to be good with the young ones. So was Rodgers, But I actually, honestly, believe this guy when he says it.
Yeah, he says he believes in the academy. He said 8 or 9 in the squad from the academy. There's 5 in the team. There's 5 academy, Leicester City academy players in that team on Saturday. Not only was it the youngest that we've ever put out. I know, like you mentioned about Monga, but that was a very, very physically tough game. You know, you got a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, and they came through it. They might have got hauled off, but they were in a game that wasn't about like the technical ability, or it was about like, have they got a bit of fight about it, or will they keep trying? And I was super impressed with. I mean, a clean sheet against such a physical side, Charlton, who they're going to be mid-table all day long, and maybe even creep into the playoffs. One of those like 10 teams that can get in the playoffs. But very impressed. He even mentioned, didn't he, that Marcel came on as a sub. He did a great job for us.
Yeah.
And although Brendan Rodgers said he likes the youth. I remember we were at the game when he came on. He brought Alves on, and he was doing it. He was taking the piss out of the midfield of in the cup. Rodgers called him over. He says, "If you carry on that, individual crap, I'll drag you off." Now you got to say that as a manager, you don't want somebody doing that, and that is some people level against Alves, but. So you go on, and it always made me think afterwards. So you got a player who's supremely gifted technically, always tries to drive forward, and the first thing you say to him when you put him on, you get him to the sidelines and tell him off in front of all the crowd. And I always thought with Brendan Rodgers that was a real shit thing to do.
There's ways of doing it, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, you could on that way have had a word with whoever was captain that day. Say, look, just have a word with him. Tell him, to pass it. I must admit, I'm actually now on what you've just said. I'm going to go down to the King Power tomorrow night because I'll go anywhere where I get pulled off. Sorry, sorry. Sensible. Again, it's sensible thing. He's come in and says, we want to get rid of some players before you can buy. Yeah, because this squad's ridiculously big. Again, he was asked, could the Foxes be the surprise package this year? I don't think any manager worth his salt is going to come out and go, yeah, because you're putting so much pressure. I mean, do you remember Ranieri? It was only once we got into the Champions League positions guaranteed, only then did he say we're going to go for the title. And that was sort of with about 6-7 games to go or something, So he was the king at sort of keeping expectations down. But he said, quite rightly, I guess, Marty, I'm concentrating. I want to win tomorrow, then win one after that, then win the next one again. His feet are firmly on the ground. He's not, and let's be honest with you, Leicester are a big club, but he's not really let that go to his head, has he?
No, he's not, and that's what Ranieri did. And all proper sports psychologists and real managers of sports people, they just get them to focus on the next thing, and that's so important to do. Because they were asking him about the transfer, and do you think you'll get people in? He said, look, hopefully by the end of the window you'll see what we've done and everything like that. But I love his approach. I just think he's a great manager. I'm so happy that we got Marty as a manager. Out of all the people we could have had, and the way he's approached, he's the first one to really back his words with, he's loving having the academy kids. He's loving it, and he's obviously chatted with King and Calm, and they're such a great team, and finally they're doing what we all wanted our club to do for the last couple of years.
Yes. Although, like I say, I suppose in fairness, you could argue that, and as I've said, you plant some seed. It takes a couple of years for the buds to bloom and come up. So I think this is he's happened to come in just when everybody that's in the academy is coming through now. Maybe a couple of years ago they weren't quite ready for it, and obviously if you bring them through too soon. It's always been the case. I used to always joke, didn't I? If Wayne Rooney was at Leicester, he still wouldn't be good enough for the first team.
But what's interesting is, Chris, is Arsenal brought on a 15-year-old they brought on.
Yeah.
My goodness me, and did he look absolutely fantastic? And I think with Mongus. Sorry?
What about the Liverpool guy? 16 scored a goal for them. The winner.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that lad for Arsenal, he was playing in the under-18s at 13 years old. 13 playing in under-18. So it's like when you see the kids walking from school. Physically now, kids, 16, 17, they quite often do have the physique of a man.
Yes.
Because they're far more physical. So you're seeing more and more younger players break into the first teams at 15, 16, 17. And it's not so much of a surprise these days. So that's why Mongo, we thought he'd fold. And even on that physical game on Saturday, he got dragged off the same as Louis Page did. But they stood the ground and they tried their best and they've come out better characters for it, because that was a test and a half.
It was. And I think it's had something to do with this as well. The experienced players, he said, are helping the youngsters. Now, you would expect that anyway, but I can imagine Marty going round and saying, show him how you do that. And, keep an eye on he might say to Ricardo, keep an eye on Mongo, make sure he's all right and what have you. Like the buddy system, I suppose. I can imagine.
Yeah, it's like I think he was asking for. I think he wanted Edouard to show people how to stick the ball, Daka to stick the ball in the net. But then he realised he wasn't here anymore.
Well, Daka never hits the ball in the net, does he? So that it wasn't mentioned on there. And look, that was about 15, 16 minutes long, I think it was. So it's not the full press conference. It very much is edited by the club, as opposed to taking control of what we hear, Big Brother and all that. But you did mention El Canoes and Jordan, and I know we give Jordan Blackwell a bit of stick when it comes to rating. Well, Brad gives him more stick than me when it comes to rating the players, but he does do some decent things now and again. And he's written on the press conference, and he's included the El Canoes bit, which is good because I say it wasn't on the video. Bilal El Canoes is available for selection against Birmingham City, but Leicester City manager Marty Cifuentes has thrown doubt over whether he will indeed pick the attacking midfielder. El Canoes was left out of the City squad at Charlton last weekend amid considerable transfer talk around the Moroccan, including interest from Crystal Palace, has now fallen by the wayside. Cifuentes wanted to take him out of the spotlight, deeming that he was not mentally ready to play at the Valley. The Spaniard has now suggested El Canoes could be selected on Friday night, but it's not a certainty he will. The manager needed to choose players in optimal condition. After he was available, Cifuentes said at his press conference, he's available, I explained already the reasons, he's available for tomorrow. I then asked what had changed during the week. The manager said, I will not explain my plans for the game tomorrow, but it's the same situation for all of the players. If his head has been turned, and let's be honest with you, he wouldn't be human if he wasn't.
Yeah.
We all want to do better. And look, I when I used to work for the local rag, I got approached by somebody to go and work for them. Gave me more money, and being approached and headhunted, it's like
it is nice, Chris. It's nice, yeah.
It's very, very nice. So totally understand, players getting their heads turned. But then when you go out and play, if your head has been turned, are you then being too individual? Because you want to make an impression on. He might say, well, he knows Crystal Palace guys will be watching the game, so would he then go out and try too hard, like Mavididi does sometimes, and instead of taking on two players, tries to take on 3 and 4 and lose it, tries passes that aren't really available because he thinks that'll make him look better than just a short pass to the side?
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations. I really like the way Marty and the club have handled it, because look, if somebody comes in for you and interested, it's not only like, oh yeah, you're going to be thinking, oh my God, could this actually happen? I could play in the Premier League, probably double my money or if not more, and I'm playing against Liverpool and Man City and everything like that. You can't begrudge him thinking that. But then if it has fallen through, I think what Marty's doing really well is giving him the headspace to give his head a wobble and recalibrate from where he thought he was going to go. Because that's down to El Canoes to do. The club can support him, but it depends if he wants to. And one thing true is, before El Canoes came to Leicester, he did so he threw his toys out the pram at his last club, didn't he? He refused to train with the team, and we actually got him. So he has got a little bit of form of.
Look, we can't complain then, because and it was the same with Fofana, and I hate it. It's nice to think, oh, that guy really wants to come to us because he's refusing to play and all that. But hang on, if he's done that to come and play for us, chances are, as you say, they're going to do that to want to go to somewhere else. And
so it's probably his attitude, and he needs to get his attitude adjusted. And it's whether him and his support package, whether he's got a missus who gives him a bash round the head with a rolling pin when she's doing the flatbreads.
He's 21. Let's hope he's not shackled yet. Good evening to all the ladies.
His girlfriend might be into making homemade bread, because she might just have a rolling pin available and just say, sort yourself out and flipping grow up a little bit. You know what I mean?
If she's using a loaf, she will do. Okay.
I like the way Marty's playing it. He's just giving him a bit of that space. And the important thing as well, if you don't pamper somebody, then they can then adjust to think, well, I am disappointed, but I'm still at Leicester. We've got a chance to go up. And you just do that recalibrating your mind, and that's up for him to do. But I like the way Marty's gone about it.
Yeah. I just want to, that's not worked. I want to do this. Just before we go on, this is coming up next Tuesday, and then after that it will be on every Wednesday. It's 10 p.m. at night. It's Football Manager, Leicester City Career Mode. Marty's been sacked. PSR has relegated us to League 2. Tom Smith has been appointed as that is supposed to be John Rudkin saying Tom's my man.
I love all those characters. They're brilliant, Chris.
Top is saying fuck PSR. Susan Whelan saying I love it. I love you, Tom Smith. And Jamie Vardy saying can Tom bring back the good times to Leicester? He's starting in League 2. And he's going to take us, and he's going to play it by the book. He's pretty much got the squad that he's getting, because, like I say, the idea is that PSR has completely fucked us over, and they've dropped us, like the Glasgow Rangers, they've dropped us down to the lowest league, which is League 2. And then can he get us back into the Premier League, and can he win us a trophy, bring back the good times? 10 o'clock on Tuesday. Because I might not be in. Well, I won't be in because I'm seeing my daughter, my granddaughter first, then my daughter on Wednesday, and we've got to try and see if we can get a way of getting Tom on this when I'm not here, because he'll do it on Wednesday nights, which is my night off. So stick with us for that. That is going to be fun. That is going to be.
That's a great idea, Chris. Great idea.
What can I say? Some of us have it, some of us don't.
I've never had it, Chris. Never had it.
I've had it, but I'll tell you what, I lose it regularly. Do check that out. Steffi Mavididi is fit again after a minor muscle injury, and with obviously Jeremy Monga started in his place. Ricardo Pierre is now ready to make his first start of the season, having made his return from a month-long hamstring injury. And he was obviously a substitute at the weekend. There are no more injuries, Cifuentes said. Luckily for us, Steffi has been training and he will look ready for us tomorrow, so that's good news. And I suppose the good news, if there's no more injuries, DCR is available. Go on, you want him to drop Fataru, stick the Cobra Reed on the...
I know, but isn't that what's really impressive about that game against Charlton, who are no mugs? It was without Ricky P, who came on as sub. It was without Winks, who came on as sub. It was without El Canoes. It was without Mavididi. And yet we still got a clean sheet and we got 3 points.
But my neighbours are just walking past with a trolley full of bedding. I don't know where they're going. Maybe they're going to sleep out on the street.
I thought you were going to say a bow and arrow and trying to get the seagull prison.
I'd buy him. I'd buy it for them. So that's good news. So look, what we're going to do is it's only a bit long. We'll have a look at the training. I'm not sure how I'm going to actually do this because I got rid of. Oh no, I haven't. It's there. So we're going to put this on. Although we will mute it, just have it on in the background. It's only a couple of minutes long. This is the guys training this week and having a bit of fun by the look of it. Right, we're going to go 4-2-3-1 with the team because we know that's what Marty's going to go for. So, unless you have an amazing interest in starting Bekovic, I think we're going to start with Stolarczyk in goal, aren't we?
Yeah, he was in the Championship Team of the Week, Chris Stolarczyk.
Yes, he was indeed. The only player that was. I thought Fatawu might have got in there for his goal, but yeah, Stolarczyk was.
Chowdhury was in there as well, Chris. Chowdhury was in.
Was he?
Yeah, for the EFL Team of the Week, I'm sure he was.
I don't wish to, pit on your party here, mate, but I'm not sure that he was. And we're gonna argue, we're gonna fall out here, aren't we? Let me just get past all the caribou shit. Team of the week. That's the no, Hamer was right back. Stolarczyk, Laird, Johnson, Burke, Hamer, Willock, Bonds, Rudini, Thomas Ascenti, and Moran right up front.
No, he wasn't then.
No, he wasn't. No, you're quite right. He wasn't. Yeah, so, I mean, even they do it as a 4-4-2. But yeah, look, he'd have to be injured for us to not pick Stolarczyk, wouldn't he?
What a game, Chris. What a game he had.
Yes, absolutely. Right, we'll go to the right back. And I think we're going to agree on this one because I think we're going to say Ricardo if he's fit.
What are you going to do, Chris? Now, James Justin is sold and they can't put him at right back.
I will die if Leeds play him at the right back and he has fucking brilliant for them. I will play. I'm sorry, I stand by it. I remember seeing him play against Southampton a couple of seasons ago when he came back, and that was his first game at right back, and he was awful, and he hasn't got any better. Yes, he scored a couple of goals, but his actual performance on no. No.
Jay, yeah, so if we played him, JJ be up against Mongo, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yes, it would. So, are we going for Ricardo at right back?
No, I prefer Chowdhury at right back still. He's the captain, Chris.
No, Ricardo is the team captain.
Oh, he is, yeah. No, the reason why I want Chowdhury at the right back is because I want Ricky P in 6 or 8. I want him in front of the back four.
No. I want Ricardo there at right back, and you'll see why in a minute. And I want Chowdhury and you want Chowdhury there. Okay, let's move on to the other side, left back. Birmingham aren't a physical side like Charlton were. They'll play. Have you got vodka in that or what? Because you're having a really bad show tonight with your claims. Hamza was in the team of the week. Then yes, he was captain. You're quite right, but Ricardo was the team captain. They're not the physical side like Charlton were, Wayne, but I'm not sure that Aluko should start. I think we should start for me with Thomas. Christensen, if he is on the way out, which it looks like he is, and I don't think he's actually maybe 100% fit as well. I
think he said he's out for 7 weeks or something bonkers.
Oh no, please, because that means he's going to stay. I'm going to go for Thomas at left back, possibly with Aluko coming on late on.
Yeah, because I think Luco's just come back from an injury. Actually, the stats for Thomas in the last game were very impressive for his interceptions, blocks. He's just he's a trendy guy to hate on, especially for some of the more volatile people on social media. But he's having a brilliant season. He's doing exactly what's asked of him.
Yeah,
he's contributing significantly to this team and the team attitude as well.
Yes. So are you in agreement with me on this one?
Yeah, I know, Chris. I hate it, but I am, yes.
Well, we disagreed on one so far. Right, 2 centre-backs.
This is going to be interesting.
Right. Apparently, I don't know what has happened at Letitska's plane, but it hasn't landed and they've not gone off with Wout Faes at all. But let's start without Wout Faes. I'm going to stick Aluko in. No, God almighty, I can't say it. Aluko in there.
Akoli, you mean?
Him as well. Sorry, that's the guy. Yeah. Yes, Akoli. I've got Gin in mind.
You wanted him in the match. You wanted him. We disagreed on Akoli, didn't we? You wanted him in. And I think his passing is iffy, but his physicality and passion and ability to cover and help Vestergaard out, he had a brilliant game. Brilliant game, Chris, didn't he?
Did you see his attitude when he blocked a shot and went for a corner?
Yeah.
You can train skill to a certain degree. Obviously, you can't train, like the Gascoigne. You've either got that or you haven't. But you can train certain ways to play. What you can't do is train passion. You've either got it or you haven't. And, when I saw him do that, I thought, fucking hell, yes, go for it.
And we needed that kind of player against a really very physical side, didn't we?
We did indeed. Although he's not available, obviously. So are we both agreed on Akoli?
Unfortunately, yes.
Don't say unfortunately. That's not fair. You're hating on him. You're hating on him already.
No. It is his passing. That's the only thing. If we get it, because he does pass sometimes to the opposition just in front of him, but everything else is spot on, and I think that can be worked on.
Yes, yeah. All right.
He's really, really impressed me, Chris. Very impressed with him.
Good. So you're putting him in not just because you have to, but because you want to. That's what I like.
On merit. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to let you go first on the second centre back. Then who are you going to put in there?
Well, basically, Marty loves him, the same as Enzo loved him, and that will be Vestergaard. Because with Chowdhury and Thomas and Akoli around him, Vestergaard, you can play him in the back, but if he was next to Coder, it caused trouble. So I'd say Vestergaard. I would like Ben Nelson's playing, although he had a bad game. I think you just got to keep playing him. But it doesn't seem that Marty wants to. So I'm happy with Vestergaard. I would prefer Nelson. But I know you're going to outvote me, Chris, so I'm going to say Vestergaard just to save a bit of time.
I will agree with you. I will agree with you with Vestergaard, because that's the thing. That's the one that, he does seem to love Vestergaard. And we've got him for another 2 seasons? No, another one. When does his contract?
I think 2, Chris. 2, I think.
Another 2 years, right? Because we had him for a year when we went up, and then we're still going for another 2. Where Faes' contract runs out at the end of this season, doesn't it? There's no point in playing Faes if you are going to sell him. He might get injured, and then we're stuck with him. I like Faes this season. Yes, I know he did all that to the SK1 and what have you. I don't have a problem. If it had been me, I'd been going, But I'm tempted with Faes, but I don't think he will go for Faze. I think he will go for Vestergaard. And like I say, probably with Ricardo, Thomas and Okoli around him, he might. And what I like about Vestergaard is, like I say, sometimes he can do a tackle and you don't even notice. He just puts his foot in the way.
He is a super intelligent footballer, isn't
he? He just hasn't got the speed, the jumping ability, or the turning circle. Just the things that you need as a footballer.
If you can protect him with fast people around him, you're okay. If you push forward, like Marty likes to push everybody forward, and then you play the high line, there will be teams that know it, and they will already have. The manager would say, look, if Leicester push right forward and the 10 yards off the halfway line, then literally as soon as the ball breaks down, you up front, break forward and just try and put the ball over the top and beat him.
Yeah. Okay, then. So we've got a back line of either Ricardo or Chowdhury, and then with Vestergaard, Okoli and Thomas. I know we're going to disagree on these two. You go first then. Pick one of your first defensive midfielder roles.
Ricky P, when he came on, he looked sublime. I think what we lack in midfield is looking after the ball and driving forward, because Ricky P used to be attacking fullback or like fullback right winger. So he's still got that in his locker, in his mind, but he's just physical. And when he gets the ball, he does not waste the ball. He'll either pass it simple if there's no option, but if he'll punch it forward. He can dribble past somebody. And him and Winks, when they came on, that was what our midfield was missing.
Okay, then your other one, give me the two then.
Is Winks, though I don't think he'll play. It's just where his head's at. But Winks, when he came on, I mean, that run he went on up the left wing in the last few minutes. If Daka hadn't have tried to shoot and just dummied it, then Marcel was at the back to probably give us 2-0. So, yeah, Winks, both Ricky P and Winks are quality. But will Winks be in the squad or, it's going to be really interesting who he picks for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, well, let me have a look at my two. I'm actually going to agree with you on Winks.
Right.
He'll pick Samare. He likes something about Samare. Again, it might be the length of his contract, I don't know. But I will go for Winks, because when he's come on, he's made it sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? He made a difference when he's come on. And I just haven't been impressed with either Sumare or Skip, to be honest with you. So you can get.
What's the main thing about those two that you not impressed with then, Chris?
The shit. Sumare, neither of them was defensive midfield, but tackles in. Samare, Vestergaard runs past Samare. And Skip, and I've just given him enough chances now, and I think we'd get on better if we put a Skip there, because they wouldn't get the ball past a proper Skip, would they? It's just absolutely. I've given him his chance. He hasn't done anything to impress me. Now you put Ricky P in there. If you'd put Ricky P maybe on the right, I know we've got Fatawu there. I would have gone, if it was a 4-4-2, I would have probably gone, because I've suggested that in previous years before 4-2-3-1 had everybody orgasming. I'm actually going to put Hamza in there. And I said this last week. That's his role. And if you've got Winks who's going forward, Hamza has matured. He used to be this bit of a hothead, didn't he? He'd come on and you were thinking, how long till he gets sent off, or how long till he gives a penalty away? He has matured very, very much. That's it. That's his main role. Yes, he can play right back, and he did very well. But when you've got Ricardo, again, I'm sorry, mate, but square pegs in square holes for me. Ricardo's a right back. I'd have him at right back. Hamza is a defensive central midfielder. And I tell you what, if Hamza is there, thy shall not pass.
Yeah, he would really tidy up in front. I see your reasoning, Chris, and there's spot on as well. And interestingly, after that match, I went on SofaScore and looked at Skip's and Samari's like ratings, and Skip, he was woeful. He didn't make any tackles, didn't interrupt any plays, didn't win any aerial duels. Samari's SofaScore was a bit better, but he definitely stopped. He was too slow getting the ball to the wingers. And he ran with the ball. And even, what was that midfielder? They were just catching up all the time and tackling him. He's too slow. And I know, like Brad, we were having a bit of a thing, but he's just too slow in his processing, and he's not quick enough for even the Championship.
No, I know what you mean. Right, the next three, which is obviously your three behind the striker. For me, I'll go first. I'm going to have Fatawu on the right, Mavididi on the left, and you know what? I'm going to give Page another shot in the middle because I think he did all right. It was a very physical side. Now, don't hate on me because I haven't put Monga in there, but I just think he's better when he comes off as a what I wanted basically Jamie Vardy to be for the last couple of seasons, an impact sub, And I think once they go back to school, he's going to have to be that impact sub because he can't play all the games. He's doing his A-levels over the next 2 years. But give Mavididi the chance, see what he can do. Hi, someone is alive in the chat. How doing, mate? How you doing? Brum do play a lot of ball forward over the midfield. Well, that, for me, Winks and Hamza, but they're not going to be, like you say, a Charlton, but I just think I would sooner see Monga come on. Monza, that's the credit card, isn't it? I'm going to see Monga come on when they're absolutely knackered at the back, hopefully, and we can...
And that was a great Vauxhall car as well, Chris.
It was indeed. Your three?
I'd say I'm surprised because I didn't expect Mavididi to be, back fit. So I'd say Fatawu, Monga, and Page.
So you having Monga?
Because one thing I like about Page is he did struggle a bit with the physicality. Well, both him and Monga definitely struggled with the physicality, and they were a bit dirty. They were the dark arts team. And they went man to man, really high pressing, high up, and I think the other lads struggle. But Louis Page, what he does is so when you play football with anybody, if you want to pass the ball, you've got to get people running to half spaces. Running to half spaces, you can pass the ball to them. If they just stand and don't move around, and Louis Page is he moves all the time.
Yeah.
So he moves into the half spaces and he will connect midfield to attack, which is where we've been struggling.
And then you've got Monga in place of Mavididi. You're going to start with Bobby De Cova-Reid up front? I've gone for Ayew myself.
Same here, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, look, we'll probably disagree more next week when we know who we've actually got still wearing the blue, as they say. But
who'd have thought we'd not be talking about considering El Canoes?
I know that's interesting, but to me, let's get it out. Let's get and I'm still going to be worried because they're saying although he hasn't come out and said he wants to leave, I did see something on Lox's channel about, I don't know what he's done with his profile picture or something. He was really, really annoyed at him. But yeah, I think maybe bring him on as a sub. Put him on the subs bench this week, and bring him on.
Yeah.
Well, Wayne, as always, sir, it's been a pleasure.
And it's an exciting game tomorrow, Chris. This is a really good test.
Tomorrow night, yeah. And then you are away next Friday.
Yeah.
So you're going up to the
no, it's from the 12th, Chris. Yeah, because it's the international break, isn't it?
It is. It'll be a nice quiet week next week then.
Yeah.
I can have a few days off. But look, guys, do join us at 10 o'clock. This gentleman here has very kindly said he'll come back with me. That sounded wrong, but you know what I mean. At 10 o'clock, and we have got maybe a new destination for El Canoes. We've got a sacking to discuss. And we've got to talk about PSR. It hasn't gone away, guys. It hasn't gone away. See you at 10 o'clock, Wayne. Thank you very much as always. Remember, everybody, smash the likes. It really does help the channel. Subscribe and click that notification bell if you're in the chat. And if you're watching it on catch up, do exactly the same. And if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, cheers for lending me your ears. Thanks so much, Wayne. I'll see you later tonight.
Yeah, mate.
Cheers. Take care.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.